Well, hello there. Welcome back to the channel. My name is James, and here at 20th and 21st Movies, we are about all things cinema. Well, today I want to spend a few minutes sharing with you my thoughts on a recent Criterion blind buy. So this is a title that I was originally not even thinking about buying, but I got it in this recent March 2022 Criterion Collection flash sale, the 50% off sale on the Criterion site. I did a video on this channel showing the titles that I picked up, the 5 titles I picked up as part of the March 22 flash sale on the Criterion.com site, so go check that out. And one of these titles is the 1975 film from Hungarian director Marta Meszaros, and it's called Adoption. This is the film from 1975 from Marta Meszaros, and this is a wonderful new discovery for me. Again, this is a film that I originally wasn't thinking about picking up when I first heard it announced, when Criterion announced these titles coming out in the month of March as part of, I believe, the mid-December announcement. This is one of those titles that was announced, and at the time I wasn't particularly excited about it. I knew nothing about it. But once again, Criterion has surprised me and amazed me with a wonderful gem of a blind buy, and that's exactly what Adoption is. So this film is directed by Hungarian director Marta Meszaros. It's a Hungarian film. It comes in at 86 minutes. It's from 1975. This film is in black and white, and I'll talk about that a little bit when I talk about the picture quality of this picture. So I'm going to tell you what I think about this film, what I think about the image quality, what I think about the sound, and what I think about the supplements, and just this overall package from the Criterion Collection and the experience of having seen this film. So this is a film that I'll read the back of the description here. It's Adoption. I won't even try to pronounce the Hungarian word for it. I think it's Orek. I guess I will try. Orek Befogadás. That is Adoption in Hungarian. This is trailblazing auteur Marta Meszaros gives aching expression to the experiences of women in 1970s Hungary in this sensitive and absorbing drama, which became the first film directed by a woman to win the Golden Bear at the Berlin Film Festival. Through intimate camera work, Adoption immerses the viewer in the worlds of 2 women, each searching for fulfillment. Katalin Berek, a middle-aged factory worker who wants to have a child with her married lover, and Anna Gyongyver Vigh, a teenage ward of the state determined to emancipate herself in order to marry her boyfriend. The bond that forms between the two speaks quietly but powerfully to the social and political forces that shape women's lives as each navigates the realities of love, marriage, and motherhood in her quest for self-determination. So, great description from Criterion on the back of this case. Of course, this is the front. This is the back here. Hopefully this is focusing. I'm trying to hold it long enough to focus, but this is, first of all, a really nice cover. I really dig the cover. And just overall, this is a really nice package. And I'll get into the supplements in just a second, but let me just tell you my takeaway having seen this film. This is a film, and I think Criterion on their description described it really well, that when you look at the way that this film is shot very intimately. A lot of close-ups. You really get into the 2 main characters here between Katalin, Berek's character, who is named in this film. So Katalin Berek plays Kata in this film. She's the middle-aged woman here who is trying to get her lover she's in love with and is having an affair with a married man, and she's been carrying on this affair for a number of years. So not the best choice going on there, but she's having this affair with this man. She's asking him if she can have his baby, and that creates some conflict there because she wants to have a child. She's middle-aged, she's in her early 40s. This film actually opens up with her in the doctor's office being examined to determine if she's healthy enough to have a child. So this is something that's heavy on her heart that she wants to do, and she's trying to go about it probably through not the best means, but she wants to have a child. This young lady here is played by Gyongyver Vigh, and she plays Anna. She is the teenage girl who's a ward of the state, and she has a boyfriend that she wants to marry, but she has to get legal freedom to be able to do it. Her parents are against the marriage. The state won't let her. So she's having to fight through that battle. And these two women come together in a bond together. And it's sort of I guess almost a mother-daughter type relationship that this ends up becoming in this film. And it's just a really intimate portrait of the love that this middle-aged woman has for the idea of having a child, and seeing this young lady here as potentially being almost a surrogate daughter for herself. And then it ultimately leads to the idea of perhaps adopting a child. So just a fascinating, personal, intimate film. And I think the word personal for me is the best way I can describe the way I feel about the way that Marta Meszaros presents this film. This is a very personal film. With those close-ups, you're really close into the faces of Kata and the face of the young lady in here. The young lady, and I keep forgetting these names, but the face of Anna, the teenage girl, played wonderfully by Gyongyver. Vigh is the young lady that played Anna. And of course, Katalin Berek played Kata. And Katalin Berek is a wonderful actress. She's no longer with us. She actually passed away in 2017, about 5 years ago. She was 86 years old, but just an amazing actress. And she emotes so beautifully in this film. With those close-ups, you really get an intimate view of what this woman is experiencing as she goes about her quest to have a child, her quest for motherhood, her desire to love another human being. So I really appreciated the intimate and personal approach that Marta Meszaros took to putting us into the world of this middle-aged woman, into the world of this teenage girl, and putting us into the world of their relationship and bond with each other. And so my dog is making some noises, so I will close this door. Stop that, Steele, stop it. German Shepherds. Anyway, you really get immersed into this world, and that's something I really appreciate about this film, and what really blew me away, and why I'm just blown away by this wonderful portrait of the life of these two Hungarian women, one a middle-aged woman, one a teenage girl, and how they experience a portion of life together in this intimate portrait by Marta Meszaros. So great film. I cannot recommend it enough. If you have an interest in foreign cinema, if you have an interest in personal stories like this is not an action blockbuster type film. This is an intimate, personal type story about everyday life and people and the struggles that people go through. So from the perspective of a woman from Hungary. So I can definitely appreciate that perspective. And as I dive more into international films, more and more into those films, it's films like this that I can really sink my teeth into and just gain an appreciation for. And out of watching this release, I've gained an appreciation for this filmmaker, Marta Meszaros, who before I had never even heard of. I never even heard of this Hungarian director. But if you look on the inside of this case, you see here that we get on the inside a nice portrait of Anna as she's outside of Kata's house. This is early on in the film, and plain on this side. And then what you get here is a really nice booklet, stapled booklet, which I love those. And there's a very nice essay in here. I'm actually skipping to the supplements, but a nice essay here from Elena Gorfield. Is that how I pronounce it? Gorfinkel, called Wayward Faces, which is really good. It talks a lot about this film, and it talks a lot about Marta Meszaros as a director. So wonderful essay. This is a nice scene from the movie here. Love it, just fantastic. And as typical, you do get some notes about the restoration, which I'll get to when I talk about the picture quality. Adoption is presented in the aspect ratio of 1.85 to 1. This new 4K digital restoration was undertaken by the National Film Institute Hungary Film Archive in collaboration with the NFI Film Lab and the Hungarian Society of Cinematographers from the 35mm original camera negative. The original monaural soundtrack was remastered by the Criterion Collection from the 35mm magnetic track. So this was a 4K digital restoration from the original camera negative. And I'm gonna switch gears here to the picture quality, because the picture quality on this black and white film from 1975 is absolutely wonderful. This film looks beautiful in 1080p on this 1080p Blu-ray with this 4K digital restoration. I mean, this picture looks great. I'm not sure what the decision that went into shooting this film in black and white. I think it might have something to do with the way that Marta Meszaros wanted to portray this story in this intimate and personal way. I think that by shooting it in black and white, it just helps her from a storytelling, or helped her from a storytelling standpoint, convey the emotions and feelings of this middle-aged woman and this teenage girl and their relationship with one another in a way that maybe if it was shot in color, you wouldn't get that same feeling. But you just get a really strong feeling and evocation of emotion as you watch this film in black and white, and how beautiful this film looks with that 4K restoration. I mean, this film looks clean. It looks absolutely almost total. I mean, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. It's not totally tack sharp in terms of definition, but it's very well detailed. The grain is not that heavy. It's beautifully resolved. It is clean. Just a beautiful image all the way around with a lot of detail, and is just a nice, clean looking picture. It's a film from 1975, so it is almost 50 years old, but it looks absolutely fantastic. It looks like it could have been shot within the last, say, decade. Almost like a modern film shot in black and white. That's about as good as this film looks. It looks almost that good. It is a beautiful 4K restoration and beautiful picture all the way around from the Criterion Collection. So I cannot say enough good things about just how good this film looks. That's one of the things that really struck me from this release, is just how good it looks with this nice restoration. So I'll stop rambling about that. From an audio standpoint, it sounded just fine. I wasn't as impressed or blown away with the audio as I was the video. The video is absolutely just wonderful. The audio is perfectly fine. So from a presentation standpoint, both the video and the audio, you're getting a really nice, strong presentation with this Blu-ray of Adoption from the Criterion Collection. As far as the special features and the supplements, honestly, this is one of those releases that I would put up there almost with Boat People, in terms of, it does a similar thing as Boat People in that you really get to understand who this director is, Marta Meszaros, because you have a couple of really nice additions on here. One is an interview with Meszaros from 2019, which I thought was very good. But a couple of things you get on here that really help you understand the world of Marta Meszaros. One is a video essay from Catherine Portugues. And in that video essay, Catherine does a beautiful job of laying out the different films that Marta Meszaros has made over her career. And I think that really paints a nice picture of the types of films that Marta Meszaros has made. Mainly, she's made a lot of films about the life of women in Hungary during this period of time in the 1960s and 1970s. And so you really get some nice portraits of what life is like in this country of Hungary for the women that live in that country. And you get a glimpse into a piece of the world that before I saw this film, I never really thought much about. So that I found very enlightening. And it's really, for me, part of the reason why I love collecting Criterion editions like this, is because it gives you that glimpse into an area of the world that you wouldn't normally think about, and just gives you, more broader perspective. So I appreciated that. So that was a great feature from Catherine Portugues, really talking about the filmography of Marta Meszaros and just how prolific Marta Meszaros is. I mean, she's made, I think they said, over 60 films, which is absolutely incredible. That's a huge output. So she's one of the most prolific directors in the history of Hungary and just a pioneering trailblazer as a woman director in this country and in international cinema. So I'm very happy with that discovery of this new director. And I'm very hopeful that Criterion will release more films from Marta Meszaros. Hopefully this is the first of a number of films that will come to the collection from this great director. There's also another feature on here, a 1979 documentary by Katja Rajanelli that features on-set interviews with the director and creative collaborators. So this was called The Portrait of the Hungarian Filmmaker. So this was a 1979 documentary that basically showed Marta Meszaros in action directing a film that she was directing at that time. I'm not sure what the film was called. I forget the name of the movie, but she was directing a film, and it shows her on set, directing the film and talking to the actors and to the people on set. And it just shows the director in action. And I really appreciated that. And I thought that was excellent because it not only showed her in action, but you also gain a lot of insight into her filmmaking process and the way that she approaches filmmaking and the way that she tells stories and the genuineness that she brings to her storytelling. So I thought that was great. And of course, I talked about the essay in here by Elena Gorfinkel. And there's also Blowball, a 1964 short film by Meszaros. So I think that was about 20 minutes or so, or 30 minutes. That was a short film in here from 1964. And I always love it when they include short films from these directors. So I think that's exciting to see. But overall, just a nice addition from Criterion. I wouldn't call this a stacked edition. It's not, loaded with supplements, but you do get two really, what I think are two great supplements that help you understand more about this director, about her filmography, about how prolific she is as a director, and really a little bit about her place in the history of cinema in Hungary and in international cinema. So I definitely think that those supplements really do a good job of, at least for me, painting a picture of who this director is, because as I said before, I never had even heard of Marta Meszaros, but now I have. So let me know in the comments below if you've seen Adoption. Let me know what you think about this film. This is a film and an edition from Criterion that I highly recommend. If you like international cinema, if you have an interest in international cinema, and if you want to broaden your horizons beyond these wonderful 50 United States, or just beyond the geography in which you live. If you want to learn more about Hungarian filmmakers, check out Adoption. If you want to learn more about Marta Meszaros, check out this edition from the Criterion Collection. I don't think you will regret it. So I really enjoyed this one, and this one is up there for me in terms of editions that I've seen so far this year. Boat People is very high on my list. This is up there as well as one of those great surprises and blind buys of the year for me so far. But let me know in the comments below what you think about this film, what you think about Marta Meszaros as a director, what you think about Hungarian cinema, and let me know if you've seen other films from Marta Meszaros. What are your favorite films from this Hungarian director, and what are some films that you would like to see from her enter the Criterion Collection, or films that you would recommend that we watch? Let us know that in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time in the movies. Peace.